If you are a man right now, you know exactly what the 1% man is supposed to look like. He's rich, he's shredded, he has the dream girl, he travels whenever he wants, he never doubts himself, and he's always in control. And if you're honest, there's a part of you that wants to be that guy, right? Not just a little, desperately. Because in your head, becoming the 1% man means one thing. I would finally feel like I'm enough. In this video, I want to do something no one else who talks about the 1% man is actually doing. I'm not here to sell you a new course. I'm not here to give you fake high-value rules. I'm definitely not here to pretend I'm that guy. I want to show you why this whole 1% idea is quietly destroying your mental health, why you never feel ready, why you jump from plan to plan, mentor to mentor, business to business, and what you actually need if you want life that feels strong and calm on the inside, not just impressive on the outside. Stay until the end because I'll give you a simple way to start today without another book, another coach, or another perfect morning routine. So let's start with the lie. The story you have been sold looks something like this. Wake up at 5 a.m., take a cold shower, go to the gym, work on your business, no distraction, no parties, no emotions, no excuses. You grind harder than everyone else. You get more money, more muscles, more status. You become high value. And then, magically, you're respected, you're desired, you are free. That's the fantasy, right? But here's what it actually looks like for most men. You watch TikTok, you watch YouTube, Instagram, you buy a course, you join a program, you get a mentor. You tell yourself, this is it. This is the thing that will finally change everything. And for a week, you actually feel something, motivated, driven, hopeful. And then life gets messy again. Your energy drops, you miss a day, you miss a week. You feel guilty, you feel ashamed. You look for the next better system, the faster way, the smarter mentor. You keep chasing the 1% version of you, but you never actually become anyone. That is the treadmill most men are on right now. I'm not going to sit here and pretend I made millions, dated supermodels, or lived that 1% lifestyle. I didn't. What I did live was the other side of this story. Constantly trying to become better. Jumping from business to business because the next one looked faster. Jumping from mentor to mentor, course to course, workshop to workshop, and always thinking, this isn't it. There must be a smarter method. I'm not ready yet. I need more knowledge, right? I tried to fix the hole inside me with new strategies. And when that didn't work, there was a time where I numbed myself with alcohol and distractions instead. New people, new environments, but always the same feeling coming back. I cut off my old friend group because I wanted more from life. But instead of feeling powerful, I ended up more isolated. More pressure, more noise in my own head. And after all of this, I didn't end up as some 1% man. I ended up with debt, burnt out, forced to finally sit in silence with myself because my body and my mind literally couldn't run anymore. That was the moment I had to admit something brutal. All of this higher, faster, better didn't make me a man. It just made me tired. And I don't tell you this to make it about me. I tell you this because this is where a lot of men are heading quietly. Here's the truth most alpha or 1% content will never say. You don't actually want 10 cars. You don't actually need 10 women. You don't actually want to crush everyone else. You want to stop waking up and feeling like you're behind. You want to look in the mirror and not feel like a disappointment. You want to walk into a room and not secretly feel smaller than every other man there. You don't want to be 1%. You want to feel like you are enough as one person. The 1% story is a seductive consume for a much deeper hunger. To be seen, to be respected, to be safe in your own skin, to be proud of the way you live. And even when no one is watching, right? And the problem is this, the 1% myth tells you that the only way to get that feeling is to win some invisible competition against millions of other men. More money than them, more discipline than them, more status than them. So of course you are never relaxed. Of course you're never present. Of course you never feel done. You're trying to win a game that literally has no finish line. So let's go deeper into what this does to you on the inside. Every time you open your phone, you're reminded there's a man richer than you, there's a man stronger than you, there's a man more charismatic than you. Your brain takes that and turns it into, I'm not there yet, I'm not enough yet, I don't deserve to rest yet. You don't see your own progress anymore, you only see the gap. Because you always feel like you're in progress. You never allow yourself to actually be someone now. You talk like this. When I fixed my body, when my business is finally big, when I've made X amount. Your entire identity is in the future, right now. You're just a project. So you never feel grounded. You never feel like a man. You feel like a half-finished version of a fantasy. You become addicted to the feeling of this next thing will change everything. A new business idea, a new mentor, a new book, a new routine. You get dopamine from the possibilities, but you rarely stay long enough to get results. You're always upgrading the system, never upgrading yourself. To keep grinding, you start turning off parts of yourself. You don't give yourself the permission to be tired. You don't allow yourself to be afraid. You don't admit that you feel lonely. You label everything as weakness. You push through. Until your mind or your body finally says, no more. That can be a breakout. That can be burnout. That can be you sitting there realizing, I don't even know who I am without the grind. So what actually matters? If the 1% myth is a trap, what is the alternative? What does real strength, real success, real masculinity even look like if it's not money, body, or status? Here's the simplest way I can put it. Real strength is inner clarity, mental stability, and the courage to stay true to yourself even when it's not impressive on Instagram. It's not about becoming untouchable. It's about becoming rooted. A man who knows what he stands for, takes responsibility for his health and his actions, doesn't need to prove himself every 5 minutes and can be present with his own emotions without running away. And the paradox, when you build that, you actually become more attractive, more trustworthy, more powerful in the long run than most of the guys screaming about high value. So before you chase a 20K month lifestyle, before you chase an 8% body fat body, before you chase the top 1%, your first job is simple. Get your foundation straight. I want to give you a very simple, practical way to think about it. Let's talk about the 3 main pillars: your body, your mind, and your direction. Let's break them down. Your body. Your health as your anchor. You don't have to be the strongest guy in the gym. You don't have to look like a fitness model or a bodybuilder, but your body is the best base for everything: your energy, your confidence, and your ability to handle stress. If you're constantly tired, inflamed, or overstimulated, everything else becomes 100 times harder. So instead of chasing perfection, use a simple 80-20 approach, right? Move your body most of the days of the week. That can be in the gym, that could be calisthenics, running, or whatever. Pick something you actually can stick to. Eat consciously, not perfectly. You can still snack. I love to eat my sweets every single day. You can still eat stupid stuff, right? But make sure most of your food supports you. Enough protein, enough real food, enough water. Take basic care of your appearance, not to impress others, but so you respect yourself when you see your own reflection. You don't need to be a six-pack model to feel like a man. You need to stop abandoning your body. Let's talk about pillar number 2. Most men do not think. They distract, they scroll, they stimulate, they consume. But they don't sit with themselves. You cannot build a life you love if you never spend time honestly facing where you are. This doesn't have to be spiritual or complicated. Start with simple daily honesty. Ask yourself, what am I actually running from right now? What am I pretending is fine that isn't fine? Once a day, Put your phone away for 50 minutes. No music, no podcast, no content. Just you, your thoughts, and maybe a journal. And write down what you think in this moment. At first, it feels uncomfortable. You will meet your fear, your shame, your confusion. But that's the point. Clarity doesn't come from another 2-hour podcast. It comes from being brave enough to actually look at your own life. And finally, the pillar number 3, the direction of your success. If your defining of success is just what everyone else is chasing but more, you will never feel done. You need to define success in a way that actually means something to you. So ask yourself, if no one ever saw my life on social media, what kind of man would I want to be? Write it in 1 or 2 sentences. For example, I'm a man who takes responsibility for himself, takes care of his body, and treats people around him with respect and presence. This is a complete different game than I'm a man who makes X amount and beats everyone else, right? From there, ask yourself, what is one simple action I can do today that is aligned with that identity? Not 10, just simply 1. If your identity is I take care of my body, then drink water first, not energy drinks. If your identity is I keep my word, do one thing you said you would do. If your identity is I'm present, have one simple conversation today where you actually listen. This is how you become your own version of rare, not by flexing, but by being consistent in who you say you are. You don't need another mentor to start. I love learning, I love mentors, and I love self-improvement, don't get me wrong. But there's a point where you have to be honest. Is this book, this coaching, this course actually helping me taking action? Or is it just another way to delay becoming the man I know I should be? You do not need a new morning routine, a new 3K program, a new hyper-productivity system. Do the following today. Choose to treat your body with a bit more respect. Sit with yourself without distraction for 10 to 15 minutes. Define one sentence what a good man means to you and take one simple action that matches that sentence. This is not sexy. I know. It doesn't look like 1% content, but it quietly changes everything. So in a world where most men are overstimulated, disconnected from the bodies, terrified of silence, and constantly comparing, do you know what is truly rare? A man who is calm, a man who is clear, a man who can look at his own life without lying to himself, a man who doesn't need to shout that he's high value because you can feel it in the way he lives. Maybe that is what the real 1% actually is. Not 1% richest, not 1% conscious, 1% most honest, 1% grounded. So if you're tired of chasing a version of success that never lets you rest, this is your invitation. Stop trying to become the internet's idea of a man. Start becoming your own. Take care of your body. Face your mind. Decide what matters to you. And then quietly, consistently live that. You will not become perfect. You will not be finished in 30 days. But you will start feeling something you've been chasing through status, woman, and money for a long time. Peace, strength, and enoughness. Or just feeling enough. So ask yourself, what is the one action I will take today as the man I actually want to be? And if you want more content like this, not cheap motivation, but real conversations for men who are done lying to themselves, you know where to find me.